Okay, so in this lecture, I want to talk a little bit more about workflow and organization. Okay, so I want to talk to you more about what you would probably encounter as you're kind of moving through, building out your course content, and just being the best darn student you could be while using ARC. So the first thing I want to talk about is what happens if while you're navigating through these pin tabs, you find out that you pinned the wrong tab. So let's say that here in subatomic particles, I realize as I'm going through this that what I really wanted was this article on the standard model of particle physics. Okay, but I've already pinned the tab, right? This takes me back to subatomic particle. So anytime I click on that, it's going to take me back to subatomic particle. Now I could click here and then come here and copy, and I could create a new tab and open up that article, okay, on subatomic particles, and going into, and actually that didn't even give me the correct link, right? Even though I navigated to that link. I could go here, get the standard model, and say, okay, I've got the standard model, drag this up here, pin this, now I got the standard model and subatomic particle. That's a lot of work, right? And the whole concept of this series of lectures is to teach you how to work smarter, not harder as a student. Okay, so let's say that I pinned a tab and I realized later that's not the tab I really want. What I really wanted was this link here as that pin tab. Well, right now, if I click on this, it's taking me back to the original page. But at any point in time here, when you navigate away from your initial URL for a pin tab, you can right-click on that tab and choose to edit the pinned page and replace it with the current URL. So now, if I click this, it takes me back to the standard model page. So notice, I no longer am going to subatomic particles. I'm going to the standard model. So again, right click and you can edit the current pin page. Alright, so that's the first thing I wanted to talk through, was if you're building out your course and you realize you accidentally tabbed the wrong page, or as you're going through and researching, you're like, you know what? There's a better page here that you can easily edit that. Okay, so that's the first thing I wanted to talk about as part of workflow. The next thing, let's say you're working on a group project, okay? Working on a group project and you find a piece of an article that you think is really, really critical that you want the group to know. Let's say that right here, this right here, let's say that for whatever reason, this sentence here I think is really, really critical. Okay, and I want my lab mates or my partners to know that laboratory instruments are capable of trapping individual electrons as well as electron plasma by use of electromagnetic fields. So what I want you to watch is up here in the URL navigation panel. Watch what happens when I highlight this text with my mouse and let go. You see this? Go ahead and let's click it. Okay. And now, the cool thing is, let's come here to Gmail, let's compose. This creates a little quote. If you send it in messages, it's going to appear as this little quote for ARC. And let me see if I can find an instance of a space where I could send it. Let's try and send it in a chat. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and just do empty group, and let's see what this looks like. I'm going to just send it. So when they click on it, it's going to open up and it's going to have that highlighted so that they can very easily see what you were trying to bring their attention to. Isn't that neat? So again, you highlight the text of interest, and then after you highlight it, you just click on this little quote and ARC will quote it and create a quick link to that quote so they can very easily see it. Another cool thing you can do for collaboration in ARC, you can share spaces. So let's say that I built out this space that I think is really important and has a lot of unique pieces of information, and I want to share it with one of my friends. You can go here and you can share this space. So you can send this space to anyone on any browser. So I'm going to copy the link to the space. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open Google Chrome and I'm going to paste that link right here. And this is what somebody who's not using ARC would see. They're served this, where they can open up Exam 1 and see all the tabs that I've saved and everything. It makes it super easy to collaborate with lab mates, best friends, even family members if you're trying to build something out to share with one another. It's an incredibly useful feature. One very important note though, you should only really share a space when you've finalized it. Because watch what happens if I come back over here to my space and I add a new tab. Let's say I drop in cellular respiration here. So it's now under subatomic particles, right? I'm going to drop it in here. It's with those subatomic particles. If I come back over here and I refresh, it is not under subatomic particles. And if this one had never been open to begin with, for example, if I come here and I add a new one, let's do DNA replication. I'm going to do that. Shift-Enter to get the top article. I'm going to pause this, and I'm going to drop this up here, again in subatomic particles. If I come back over here, it is not in subatomic particles. So only share a space when you have finalized it and you're ready to share it. Okay, let me close this and get that out of there. I'm going to get cellular respiration out of here. Okay, I'm going to get cell respiration out of here. There we go. Okay, so those are some of the cool ways that you can kind of share and collaborate content in ARC as you're building out your workflow. The final thing I want to show you was a mistake that happened during the previous lecture. So as students, I imagine the vast majority of you are probably in something like Google Docs, and maybe you're also in Google Slides creating, presentations. And so let's say you're working on a document where you've written out something. Let's just do a blank document here. This is my blank document, but let's say I'm writing something out here and I want to be working on a presentation for that as well. So here's my presentation. Okay. So normally what you're probably doing is you're doing one of two things. Either A, you're working between tabs, or B, you're swiping between different screens. Okay? Well, here's the cool thing that ARC allows you to do. You can grab a tab at any time and drop it next to another and create a split view. And again, the cool thing is I can reorganize. So once you've added these two tabs, you'll see these X's, you'll see this control pane here, this square that's divided in half, which is going to allow you to kind of separate or move spaces, and then this X, which will remove this tab from split view. So if I click the X here, it closes out that tab, and I now just have my slides. So let me go back to Docs, open it back up. I'm going to open up that blank document again. And let's call this example document. There we go, it's fine. Okay, and I'm going to drag it right here. And I've got it to the left, this to the right. If I want to move them, I can just click on this square that's divided in half that allows me to handle split view options, and I can move this to the right. Or I can come here and move this to the right. I can come here and still have all of my options here for what I want to do. And if I want to add another, I can add another tab. So I can add one to the left and add a brand new tab, and I could go to YouTube here and do this. Let me go ahead and mute so I can start playing a video. Let's do cell respiration since that's kind of like the hits. Okay, and I can open this up and start playing it. So I could be working between these three tabs here. But you know what? This YouTube video is really taking up a ton of space. I think I'm going to come up here and click on this, and I'm going to separate it from split view. And then I'm going to go back to my split view, and remember that ARC does picture-in-picture. So I can actually still be watching that video. I can close the sidebar, and now I can be working in my document, building my presentation, and listening to this video all at the same time. How awesome is that? And then let's say that, you know what? I want to do another tab again. I'm going to do one to the right. So add one to the right. And I'm going to do cell respiration. Okay. And I'm going to come here to images. Actually, let's go to articles. Let's say that I've got an article on cell respiration. And oh, this is a really cool image. Okay. Well, I'm going to come here and I want to actually snag this image. Okay. And I want to copy it to my clipboard. And then I want to escape. And I want to come over here to my Google document and I'm going to paste it. And now I have that image. Of course, because that image has a plus there, it now has it saved there. So you know what? I'm going to come back here. With that expanded, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy that screenshot. Okay, copy it. Come over here, escape, delete that. I'm going to paste this. And then I can come here if I need to. I can crop this image. Okay, format. I can go ahead and copy this. I can crop the image. And boom. Very, very quickly there, using Arc, I have now got a video running. I'm capturing images. I'm dropping them in. Please remember to give attribution and cite where you got that image from, if that's what you're doing. Here it says Encyclopedia Britannica, but you want to make sure you go through the appropriate avenues so you're not actually just plagiarizing. And now I'm done with this, so I can close this tab. I'm back to 2 tabs, still got my video running, and I'm working here in full screen mode. Now you might be asking, well, wait a second, what happens if I try and save here? Well, yes, Google Documents does allow Command S as a means of saving. And Arc recognizes that some apps do that. So when you're in an app where you can use Command S to save, Arc will notify you you need to press Command S again to get your sidebar. All right, I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to close this. So let's review. What we've talked about here is we've effectively organized our content into a course by exam, by topic within that exam. I can save videos, I can save documents, I can even move these combined tabs up here to have them included in this space so that they are always saved there. I've got different spaces for different classes. I've got content within those classes that I can easily organize. There are ways that I can share content on pages with collaborators. I can share the space itself with collaborators. I've got favorites that represent the apps that I use the most on a day-to-day basis as a student that make it easy for me to keep an eye on anything that I'm doing. And notice, these favorite apps, if they integrate with Arc, I can hover and actually even see, here's the emails in my inbox, here's the events on my calendar. So this really does make working as a student insanely easy. And here's the other cool thing. I haven't even shown you how awesome the mobile application on iOS is. And that's what we're going to talk about in the next video.